On folks, welcome back to the channel. It's the 20th of May. We're going to take a look at Sandbox slash USD slash the US dollar. Going to look at a daily chart. Going to check out a little bit of market sentiment. Going to also check out the SPY, which is the S&P 500 ETF, and what happened looking back and what to potentially expect moving forward for the stock market. And we know that Bitcoin has a decent correlation with the stock market, so you can kind of figure out what to expect with the crypto markets, as well as a lot of the altcoins, which Bitcoin has a lot of say in what they do. So we're looking at Sandbox here slash the US dollar. This is a daily chart. We are on TradingView. So what's going on with this thing? So it looks like with this chart data, we are trading at $1.28. It looks like I lost some of my data here on the chart, but that's all good. We can keep on moving forward here. So basically, Sandbox is, let's see, 65% below the 200-day. Oh, there we go. So the 200-day up there at 376, current price $1.28. So we know with stocks, cryptos, when they get too far away from the 200-day moving average, they tend to get pulled back to it. So this example would be back to the upside. You also have examples where the price moves up too high, too fast, and has to correct itself and get pulled back to the 200-day, where it finds its home for a while before the next move unfolds. And what will happen now? Either the price will go sideways and allow time to catch up to it, or you'll see a pretty violent reaction back in the opposite direction to get back closer to that 200-day as time catches up. So keep that in mind. 60-some% below the 200-day. So on the recent pullback here with Sandbox, looks like we hit a low of 93 cents right over in here on, I believe that was probably the 12th, the 12th of May, where everything else basically across the board has found a bottom so far. So that level there on the 12th correlates with this whole area over here. Let me show you that. So basically over in here is what was old resistance, has now at least been trying to turn into support on this recent pullback. So you have a breakthrough right here, massive break to the upside, big rally. Looks like we moved all the way up to $8 plus, and then a very sharp pullback. So this old area over in here, which was price resistance, is trying to, in recent times, turn into price support. So far, doing a pretty good job. So if you believe the stock market is near a bottom, which market sentiment tells us we are, then, and you think Sandbox will have some correlation with Bitcoin, which follows the stock market pretty close, then you can expect higher prices here in the future for Sandbox. So zooming in a little bit, getting a closer look. One thing I want to mention real quick is, of course, this is not financial advice, just sharing my opinion. Could be right, could be wrong. Hopefully I provide a little bit of entertainment for you guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Appreciate all of that. So real quick, before I get back into this area over here, When it comes to the 200-day and the price getting too far away, you can see right here when we printed that lower high, big reaction back to the 200-day, wicking up, finding support, and then counter reaction back to the upside, and then another reaction back to the 200-day. So price does like to find a home in and around the 200-day. It is a slow moving average, so price will fluctuate both above and below that average. Let's see, I have a 21-day on here. Let me see if I can get that on there. Oh, that is on there. Did not see it. So you can see how the price, faster moving time frame, definitely will follow the price better. Decent time frame for spotting changes in trend, like right here. When we got a break below that, that could have been a good short signal, as well as maybe over in here, a good long signal. So that's the 21-day moving average. See over in here, resistance. Maybe you can figure out a way to trade with it. It is, I have found over time, a decent little moving average to just kind of keep in the back of your mind. So when we got a nice support here, we obviously found support at the 200-day for this, or the 21-day for this whole move. So, hey, maybe you can throw that on your chart and just kind of keep an eye on it. And then back over to recent times here for Sandbox. What will I be looking for Sandbox? Well, so far, let's put it on the log scale. There we go. So far, Sandbox obviously has put in a low on the 12th. We're pulling back. And as of yesterday's candle, that is a higher low. Today is Friday. Fridays are typically bullish in the stock market. So right now the markets are up quite a bit. Futures markets, Bitcoin futures, not 100% sure where they're at. If we do see a big rally in the broad markets, crypto and stocks, this could be the higher low. This next move could be very, very strong back to the upside. Me personally, I would be looking for a break either above this area here, call it $1.46, or perhaps this area here, a little higher, $1.69, $1.70. So basically we get a pullback, market rallies up, lower high, still on a downtrend, market pulls back, prints a higher low, and what is to follow that higher low in a downtrend can be a very, very strong move to the upside. If you take a look at Tesla, perfect example. Tesla sold off, rallied up, lower high, still on a downtrend, good for the bears. The key is when that market pulled back and printed that higher low, that was a big warning sign if you were short to be careful, because what followed was a very, very strong rally to the upside. Good for the bulls, bad for the bears. So if this is a higher low, this move that could follow could be very strong and happen very fast for Sandbox. So could it happen? Obviously, time will tell. If the stock market is about to take off like a rocket, and this thing has some correlation with Bitcoin, which will probably follow what the stock market does, then I think the odds would favor something more like this than something more like this. So, of course, that is my opinion. Like I said, I'd be keeping my eyes on this level, potential add. Maybe you add a quarter of your position there at $1.40-ish, $1.45. Maybe you add another 50% of your position at $1.70, and then maybe up in here, or maybe even up in here, you add the other 0.25% or the other 50% of your position. Maybe you added some down in here. So far, great price. Like I always say, we don't always look to add on weakness. We are usually adding more on strength. So when we see the price confirmation, print the higher low, start to move higher, and show us that there is buying coming back into the crypto or stock, we like to get in on that, and not so much on the downside move. So perhaps you added up in here, started to move up, feeling good about yourself, and big washout. So that is why we don't add on weakness. We like to add on strength. So let me show you an example of that. If we go back in time here a little bit, not too much, I guess it would be last year. So we have these, basically these resistance levels on the chart. When we broke that resistance right here on the 30th of October, that is lots and lots and lots of strength coming into Sandbox on huge volume. So, plus it was a breakout past this high here. Another good bullish sign to see. That could have been a perfect day to add or even get into this position, in my opinion. Looks like that day you were up, let's call it, what was that, 54%? Now, at the time, you might be like, it's already up 54%. Why would I buy this thing right now? So let's see where it closed. It closed that day at $1.80. And where did it go? All the way up to $8. So that would be an example of basically buying a breakout, buying a price when it breaks out past a important level. This level was basically over in here at the $1.18, $1.19 range. Super high volume, closed pretty well, had a rough next day, but you were making multiples before you know it. So that's an example of buying strength. Let's show you an example of the dangers of buying weakness. So let's see, you got a pullback here, lower high. So this is a big warning as well. Just like when you print a higher low, potentially right here, good sign for the bulls. When you print a lower high, be careful. Good sign for the bears, bad sign for the bulls. So basically, if you flip this chart upside down, you would put in a low here. Let's say this would be a, what would that be? Basically a lower high. And then right here, this would be that higher low. And then you see the massive move that takes place. So that's if we flip the chart upside down. Looking at the chart the way it is right now, massive high, pullback, still a higher low. So if you're bullish on this thing, it's all as well. Pull up, can't get back up to these levels, print a lower high. Party is over for this move. Started to move down, tried to find some support, another lower high, and then big washout move. So going back to buying weakness, trying to buy the dip, we'll say, is you could have tried to buy this dip here. Market did move up a little bit. Like I said, should have been keeping your eye out over here for that lower high, because this is lower high number 2. And then you just basically had a straight waterfall move from $4.50 all the way down to, let's see, 250 area. Got a nice reaction off the 200 day. And then basically, boom, washout move over here. So I would not be surprised if that was the bottom there on the 12th. Like I said, the stock market is near a bottom. And that would probably indicate that Bitcoin is as well. Kind of looking for a big move past these highs here. So a little bit of a rough analysis. You can definitely dive a little bit deeper going day by day into this, but I just wanted to kind of share a couple different scenarios that could play out here. So one, not only do I think the stock market is near its lows according to market sentiment, Sandbox on the 12th had a very strong pullback like all of the other or many other assets in the markets. So on the 12th, that is one thing. And then also that correlates with this whole area over here as a good area of support for the price when it pulled back, which obviously it has. So it would be good to see the price find support there and start to move higher. What you would not want to see is the price basically get under these lows down in here and find its home there for a long time. That would not be good. So keep your eyes on this thing. Let's see what happens. Does it rally with the rest of the markets, which they should be doing here in the pretty much any day now? We could expect big rallies to the upside in the overall markets and as well as Bitcoin. So pretty cheap. If you ask me, this thing, if you expect it to go back up to the 200-day, I mean, you're at $1.30 and then you're up here at right around, looks like $3.50, $4. Not a bad move. So if you bought today and you're up here at the 2, so yeah, not bad for 100+% move. Let's check out a little bit of market sentiment. What's going on? CNN Fear and Greed sitting at a 12. A lot of fear in the markets right now, according to market sentiment. As a contrarian indicator, not a bad time to be getting long stocks here. Keep your eye on that. If you're still short and expect the market to continue to fall off a cliff, I would take warning and be careful with that. When we see sentiment like this, we can get very strong moves back in the opposite direction, which would be to the upside. The crypto fear and greed index looks like we hit a 10, and we are sitting here at a 13. Looking good here for the crypto markets sentiment. What's going on over here with the SPY, the S&P 500 ETF? So just want to point out, you can see where we're at right now for the SPY in that 380, 390 range. So market sentiment, there is a lot of fear. We'll do an F for fear. So we have not seen similar fear levels according to certain market sentiment. The last time we saw sentiment similar to this was around the 2020 lows. We actually have more fear than we did on this low here. Back in 2016 was the last time we had similar fear levels as we do right now. What followed? Massive move to the upside. So, and then before that, we actually saw similar market sentiment back here in 2009. So, if I'm going to play the odds would tell me that there is much higher prices coming for the stock market than much lower prices coming for the stock market. Could we trade sideways to a bit lower before finding a solid bottom and moving higher? Of course we could. But if you're playing the market sentiment and looking back at history, history tells us when we get to these fear levels, we are in and at or near a market bottom and not so much a market top. So keep that in the back of your mind. Of course, could head lower, could head sideways. You let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I know the plays I'm taking. Of course, everybody is open to their opinion. And the great thing about the markets is you can pick your side and stick with it. And maybe you'll be right. Maybe you won't be right. But at least you'll know soon enough. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up on my opinion on Sandbox. A little bit of market sentiment, kind of the couple different scenarios that could play out here with Sandbox. And like I said, kind of my thoughts on what is to come here for the stock market, what to expect in the weeks and months ahead. It could be a very profitable summer, according to market sentiment, telling us what's going on here with the markets. Let me know your thoughts down in the video comments. Any other video ideas you want to see, let me know, and I will check out the charts and see if I can come up with a little bit of content. Have a fantastic Friday. Have a great weekend. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.